Going on, guys? We're about to get into The Last of Us episode 5. So, do you feel her? Let's go. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jose here hanging with you guys tonight for some Last of Us talk. But I'm not by myself like always. I got my boy Mike here in the building.
Hello there. And things are really starting to heat up, and we kind of get a local reference in this episode. We'll talk about it.
Thank you very much. And we got KJ here with us. How are you, my lady?
What's good, guys? Let's get into it. It's a good one.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So we got a lot to talk about right from the jump. What did y'all think about the episode as a whole?
I thought it was short but good. I was like kind of half expecting it to be filler, but I think by the end of it, they really dropped some pretty important heartbeats, like heartfelt moments, and there was probably one of the creepiest scenes in the entire series in this episode. I got like really creeped out.
Yeah, a little catch and hook.
Creeped out or grossed out?
Creeped out.
A little bit of both. What you thought, KJ?
I started out slow, but I really enjoyed it. We got a little bit of different angles from different areas of the show, which was nice.
Yeah, it was definitely took us on a wild ride because I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay, it started off slow, but then it really heated up with some action. But we start off with I'm gonna say Iron Hammer or whatever her name was.
Mm-hmm.
Her talking to Elise.
Was that her name?
Yeah, Elise Park was her name, and you see like the soldiers are all around her, and she's going in there, and she's gonna interrogate Elise, and they just go in there, and she starts talking like, "Your soldiers must be really loyal to you because they followed you up here, and if you thought you were gonna get executed," she goes, "If I thought I was gonna get executed, Isaac would have been here, not you."
Yeah, and then she told her she's sitting on a flipping powder keg. There is an evolving, drastically ever-changing situation going on in that stairwell that they have like welded shut. I guess it was a stairwell next to the elevator, and she slowly starts to peel that back,
and she just go for it.
Well, I was like, Leon? Is that a Resident Evil reference? Did anyone else think that?
That's my second note.
So they're all part of the wolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Isaac is top dog because she said that. And then she sent her son down to clear the basement because she said he was one of the best. And it's really tragic what happens that he said, "Seal us in, it's in the air." And she sealed her son in the basement to keep containment of the spores, because this is like in the past, right? So we already knew that it was in the air.
Well, I don't think in the show it's been in the air before.
No, this is currently in the air for the first time. This is the first time it's ever been shown that it's actually hit the air.
But I thought that's why they wore the gas mask in season 1.
Did they wear? Or I thought they wore them in the game, but not the show. Did they?
Yeah, they did. And then they were like, "Ellie, weren't you wearing a mask?" Like she didn't need it.
Oh, okay.
When he was traveling with the chick, forget her name, that gets killed in like episode 1.
With his daughter Sarah,
with Joel, season 1.
Where they were the one that looked like the girl from the '70s show.
Yeah, they were wearing masks when they went into the buildings with the spores.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought
remember.
I thought it was
But the way they showed it, them breathing the spores. I mean, obviously you don't see that till later, but this is not a non-spoiler free thing.
Yeah.
The way they showed that, and the way you just, obviously we're fast forwarding because we're talking about it, and people who are listening to us already seen the show. So we'll talk about that for a second. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy how well that was done.
It was like a compression. It was like it was using their human bodies to breathe out the spores to spread, which
Yeah,
is
that was
so
it.
like it's so evil genius.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But when she said, because for me, it was the first time that they said it was airborne. And when I heard that, I was like, oh shit.
Mm,
I'm like, it's about to get real. So you can't be in any entrapment building now. You have to
right.
be outdoors
Mhm.
where it can flow and you don't have to breathe it in or you got to find mask. And I'm like, that just changes the entire level of that show, because in The Walking Dead they didn't do that until like the last season where the walkers started to evolve. And this show's second season, we already have five, technically six different walkers, because Ellie can track them, but she can't track these guys because they're too quiet. Not Ellie,
Dina.
Dina can't, she tracks them, but she can't track these guys. Because if she could have, when they went into the warehouse, she would have known. But I'm
Um,
jumping way ahead.
Anybody who has played State of Decay, which is a zombie movie game on Xbox, that whole environment with the spores going up the walls and on the floor reminded me of a plague house. There's like these houses in the game that are full of spores like that, and you have to go in and like kill the heart, and it's extremely hard. It reminded me of that.
Wow. I'm not a gamer, so unfortunately I cannot relate.
I used to be. I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
Seattle.
So it was also kind of creepy the fact that like this is happening in the hospital, and like instead of like moving everybody out of there, because there's a ventilation system and there's got to be air ducts where that stuff can travel up through. They're just like, we're gonna board it up and pretend it's not there.
But
In the
really
hospital.
quickly, back to that conversation that Iron Hammer had with Elsie.
Mm-hmm.
She like she made her feel when she went in there originally like she was, like they were gonna kill her, and you just let all your men and Isaac. Why are you letting our men die? We're already losing this war. They broke the treaty.
Yeah.
And then she goes the whole Leon thing. But like to me, it was like we owe you basically, and they said that to her. So like to me, it was like, how is that going to come into play later on the story with Parker, with Elise?
Yeah, they thought the worst of her. Like her own son died. Why would she intentionally do that?
But she didn't know going into that conversation
Oh, okay.
that,
I think
because she was just like, you just locked a whole platoon of men, of soldiers in S2 stairway. Like,
Mm.
what the hell is that? A B2 stairway. What the hell is that about?
it just kind of shows like how she feels like the leadership is unstable and probably wasn't exactly expecting to leave that place alive, because she did get rid of a platoon, whether she felt the reason was justified or not. But she's got to explain that to her superiors, who've probably killed for less.
Did anybody recognize the chick you're calling Iron Hammer? Because I know her
No,
from something. Has anyone ever seen The Waiting
I did
with
not.
Ryan Reynolds? You guys.
I might have.
It's about a
Well,
restaurant. It's a restaurant, and like they do
yeah,
pranks and they spit in people's
disgust.
food.
Yeah.
She's the
Oh, I've
crazy
seen
chick
that.
with the bush, if you know what I mean.
Wait, is
Yeah.
that the one where they have like the goat and they like?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, I did see that.
She's in that. She's the really mean, nasty waitress who like
Oh.
cusses up a storm when she's in the back, and then she comes out and she's all nice. I was like, that would be
Well,
me as a waitress.
yeah,
Yeah,
she looks completely different. A lot
yeah,
of.
because she's old as hell. She's old as hell now.
Yeah, I feel like that came out like a minute ago. Oh my goodness.
All right, so
But
Seattle day 2. We're in the movie theater, and
really quickly,
yeah.
one quick point before that. When what made me think, she said we owe you one, and that brought me back to the part where the guy from the scars in the last episode told Isaac, you guys come to us, we never leave to become a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting there, and we owe you a debt of gratitude. I just sacrificed my son for you, for
Yeah.
this wolf. So that that interaction is not done. That is going to come into play later on. She's going to betray them somehow. That's just a side note for later on. Uh,
Mm,
but that's where my brain went with that whole situation.
yeah, they showed us that for a reason. So
Yeah, definitely. But what were you gonna say, KJ?
I was just moving to the next scene, which was the girls in the hotel, and Dina is mapping out. Well, she's listening on the radio to the patrol, figuring out their route, how long. Like she's a little evil genius, and what did she say she needed? She was trying triangulating
Yeah.
um the route and finding a way for them to get through without being seen.
Yeah, she's
And
like the queen of multitasking. While like
yeah,
Ellie's like sitting there like playing guitar and farting around, like she is like mapping things out, like counting supplies, figuring out like radio code, and just like doing it all and coming up with the plan. Ellie's just like, "No, we'll just go kill him. It'll be
well,
okay."
Ellie went down and started the generator for the entire hotel that
Yeah,
nobody notices from the outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are there's no infected in that entire gigantic
right.
place? But she's like, let
So
me help. No.
Ellie, first off, if it was all three of us, we would have died because I'm sure none of us know how to triangulate whatever the
No.
heck she was doing. I failed geometry, so whatever
Dude, I
that
can't even
is beyond
triangulate a
geometry.
pencil. Okay, like I'm done.
Yeah, she was like, if I had a protractor. Ellie's like, I brought one. She's like, really? I don't even know what that is.
I use them to draw circles. That's it.
Right?
Ellie,
Yeah.
Ellie is so dumb and so reckless.
She
Like
is.
it makes no sense. Like she's the reason you're gonna get killed because she doesn't think anything through. She goes, "Well, let's go be reckless."
Mm-hmm.
They literally say that. Let's go be
Yeah.
reckless.
Yeah,
They do
and
share like a really nice moment where like I feel like Ellie was like appreciating what Dina was doing and like she's like I'm just going to go check out this stuff and they like have that nice little like smile moment and
That was a silent I love you. That's what I wrote.
exactly.
It was a silent
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh.
And then she walked off and played guitar
Yeah.
for a second and got mad and was like, I want revenge.
Right. But like it's also like can you imagine like she's probably seen
we
like the
do
little
get
stage at like the Community. Can you imagine like walking into like a theater for the first time, let alone like a theater with like a grand like skylight thing going on and seeing that equipment on stage? Like what a feeling that's got to be.
she picks up the guitar, plays like two notes, and then she just stops
Yeah.
Yeah.
and she just leaves. But then,
Yeah.
what happened next after the thing? They're ready. Ellie breaks down. Not Ellie. Dina breaks down
The map.
the map, and there's an empty warehouse, and we don't know why. There's just this random empty warehouse, and the wolves are not going towards it. They're not checking it out. So obviously, there is something there. There's something
There's
going on.
risk. A risk they're not willing to take.
Yeah.
And they mentioned, Mike, you want to take this?
Yeah, so they start talking about the Seraphites and she starts talking about how they use bow and arrows and they whistle and maybe they just don't use technology or guns. And she starts to compare them to the Amish people of Lancaster. And Ellie's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, there's these people that they just don't use any like technology and they're kind of cult like." And what was it you said, Kelly? Okay.
What? She was like, she was like, they live like they're in the 1800s. Well, being local to that culture, unfortunately, yeah, it tracks. Like, it's very cult like.
Yeah, you messaged me and you were like, I don't remember the Amish people disemboweling people.
Oh, that's what I said. I'm like, they don't disembowel, I don't think.
I was like, I didn't read that in the pamphlet either.
I'm like, we got a shout out for PA.
It's kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb that they don't Like the Seraphites refuse any technology, including radios. It's like it, it logically doesn't make sense.
No,
Because she's like, they're
especially
talking on the radio like no one is listening because they know they're not listening.
And then the next scene is them walking, just strolling down the neighborhood,
Chatting it up.
chatting it up, not even trying to look for cover, just guns out, just let's just take a stroll.
They say what we're all thinking at that point too, where they're like,
"You're having a baby."
Yeah, Ellie's like, "Why are we doing? Like, you need to go home," and blah 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 blah, and like,
they didn't think about that before
because they want to be reckless.
It just hit her like you could die because they see the pile of scars and they're like, she's like, you could die, like. And then Ellie goes in, and Dina goes into one of the best speeches in the episode about her past.
Yeah, that was
not before seeing all the scar people shot up with the big feel her love, the coat like feel her love, and then all them people shot up. So they in the last episode they saw the wolves all split in half with their guts hanging out and everything, and now they're seeing the wolves shooting these people point blank, and there was a little kid that they made sure to focus on that was dead on there too.
Just retaliation back and forth.
Yeah.
Just they just keep killing each other.
And Ellie asked her, when was your first kill?
Well, Dina said no one's asked me about my first kill because she was visibly upset when she saw the bodies there. And like she wanted to change the subject. I wrote down what she said.
What'd she say?
I don't know if I want to read the whole thing. Well, she said she lived in a forest outside of Santa Fe, and she was 8 years old and she used to beg her mom to let her go outside. Basically said that a drifter came into the house and probably raped her mother and sister to death. And she was 8 years old. And then she turns and says, this is what matters. Whatever reason Joel gave those people to do what they did, he didn't deserve that. And I think, what if I hadn't snuck out? What if my mom and sister were beaten to death in front of me? What if that motherfucker made me watch as he did it? Would it make a difference if my family had hurt his people first? No. And if I hadn't killed him, if he had gotten away, I promise you I would have hunted him down forever. So she was like, I get you, Ellie. I get why you want to do this. And if you want to go, I'll go. If you want to stay, I'll stay. And what does Ellie choose? Again.
To get her revenge.
Go.
Yeah.
Let's go be reckless.
To risk Dina's life again.
And the unborn baby. Because she's selfish.
Yeah.
She's just so rageful. And I get it. I get why you're rageful, but you got to take other people into consideration at that point. She's with a kid. You supposedly love her. Then why would you allow the person you love to risk their life and the life of your unborn child?
So I have a prediction now. I hope this doesn't happen because it's dark. But what if Dina gets bit while she's pregnant, like further along, and like the baby could potentially be like another Ellie?
Oh,
I've been
wow.
thinking that since the last episode. Yeah. I've honestly been thinking that since the last episode. I'm like, they're going to redo it so they have two people that are immune to it. And then Ellie's going to be left to raise this kid by herself.
Which I don't want to see because I love Dina. She's my favorite character. But
yeah, she definitely like carried this episode a lot. And kind of like fleshing out her backstory was pretty important, I think, in this episode. And
she's tough as nails, man.
Yeah, she totally is.
I don't think that would happen till at least next season, though, because right now she's just pregnant. She's in the first trimester. Yeah. She's got 8 months to go.
She was 8 years old, left in the cabin. Her mother, sister dead. This guy's dead. She survived for a while, probably on her own before she got to Jackson somehow.
Yeah.
But she said he was shocked when he saw me, and then he was shocked again.
Yeah.
And I
You
was
don't
like,
expect like an 8-year-old to shoot you.
no.
Jeez.
He
Why
thought he
beat?
was gonna
Why
have
beat?
another victim
Why beat a woman and child to death for no fucking
because
reason?
people are sick.
Yeah.
It's
People are extremely sick.
the
But
Wastelanders.
yeah, that definitely took a dark turn before they end up in the they end up right in that
They
warehouse.
yeah, they go in the warehouse and like let's talk about Dina again and
Bolt cutters.
right. I have it right here. I'm like, don't be sleeping on bolt cutters in the apocalypse.
You guys,
Like,
I literally looked it up on Amazon immediately. I was like, how much are bolt cutters? They're only like $15. I was like, I need
go
this.
get the Harbor Freight, get the lifetime extended warranty on them. It'd be worth it. All right.
Oh my god.
Like,
MVP
No,
again.
exactly. It's
don't
3
go to
episodes in
Harbor
a row.
Freight. If you go to Harbor Freight, they're gonna break after the first use. You want some that's gonna work in the zombie apocalypse long term. Go get some Craftsman.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah, dude, don't sleep on bolt cutters.
whoa, it's okay. Shh.
But yeah, they go in the warehouse, and our girl Dina, she ain't sensing these guys.
No.
Which
Yeah.
was the first thing I noticed. So normally she knows, she can feel the clickers, she can hear them, and she can tell you how many different types there are. This time, she didn't know. These things are dangerous
It
because
was eerily
they're
quiet.
Yeah.
creepy as hell.
Enough that they like kind of felt safe, and Dina's like, I'm gonna go in there, and Ellie like straight plays the like immunity card. She's like, no, like I'm immune, let me go.
Well, first she says, I love you.
Yeah.
She says, you're a little crazy because she's like, Ellie, don't shoot your gun, right? Like they're going to hear us. We want to use our knives or run if possible. And she's like, I don't use my gun every time. She's like, yes, every time. You're a little crazy. One of the reasons I love you. And she's like, you love me? It was cute. It was a cute little scene.
You don't
she
have
totally
to
makes
say
her like
it. I
confirm it
know.
like 3 times.
She's
too.
like, I know. You're obsessed with me. It's cool.
Yeah.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
Oh man, but those things, man. Ellie sees them first, right?
No. So it was like the long hallway shot was cool.
Mhm.
That long shot with the camera. Yeah. And then they look up and Dina sees one of them on the top of the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck is that? It just hid.
They're like antlers.
Oh, well, first they see the body ripped in half. That was nice.
Yeah.
And they made the right call. Dina was like, let's leave.
Definitely.
They turn around and there's 5 more.
This was the part where I started getting like really creeped out because like I wasn't expecting them to be like behind her or there to be like more than one, and I felt like they were setting up like almost like a Jurassic Park like raptor trap where it's like, here's the body for you to go and investigate, and we're gonna pounce on you. And the way they were like kind of like crying again reminds us of Left 4 Dead, and just a nice way to like bring the people in. And yeah, they were completely surrounded, and
those sounds are creepy. It's like almost like someone trying like not to throw up. It's like that weird like sound. And they looked male, which was weird too because it sounds female, but they look like they were in like army like colors. So I wonder if they were like old soldiers or something that had
for something
got infected. I was actually surprised by the pulled apart body because in the past we've seen them not go for the kill but like just go for the infection, but it really looks like they just like tore at it. Yeah. And I did the way they move.
And Ellie sees it coming and she goes, get to the cage. Her first instinct is to protect Dina because at that point she is scared. She's legit scared because she can't protect Dina.
6 against 1, 6 against 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even without like horde numbers, like that was just a super creepy scene. And like
because they're intelligent. It's like they're
and you can't hear them, you don't know where they're coming from, you don't know nothing until they're like right on your face.
It was a good plan to send her to the cage.
Did anyone catch what Ellie did to Dina? So like
Kissed
Dina
her?
is no, she fired her gun at her. There was
Yeah,
like
she
an
could have.
infected
She
over
could have
there
shot
by the
her.
cage,
She could have
and she
shot
started
her.
firing at the thing by the cage, and I'm like,
Yeah, I put that down too. She
Right?
could have shot her if she. Like, she's not a great aim. Like, she misses constantly in the show.
She runs to the cage, and then the right in front of the cage, like right close up to that one clicker or whatever the hell these ones are called, that are like right up in her
The
face.
smart ones.
Stalker.
Yeah, and then you have another one, and then eventually it starts ripping the cage open from the top, and at the same time you got Ellie getting shredded.
Did you see that the one above Dina was dodging the bullets? She was
Yeah.
shooting it and it was dodging. Like, dude, that's too smart. And then like 4 of them take Ellie down, and I thought she was done for. But I was thinking the soldiers were going to come in. I didn't expect I didn't expect it to be Jesse at all.
Yeah.
Not me either.
Baby daddy came to the rescue.
Because like that's like super convenient. I was
when,
like,
yeah, when they panned up, I thought it was going to be Isaac.
oh yeah, definitely.
That would have been awesome, because that would have given her an in, and they would interrogate her. We don't know, we're from another.
The soldiers didn't even come in. They heard all that gunfire and they were like, "Nah, fuck that place. We're not going in there."
Nope. And Jesse came, but did you see how Jesse was looking at her? She's like, "No, she wasn't bitten. She wasn't bitten. She's not infected."
He's like, "You
And
got bit, bitch."
Yeah, he kept side eyeing her like he's ready to take her ass out.
I'm surprised she didn't get bit. They didn't show a bite.
They were clawing at her stomach, though.
Yeah.
They were definitely clawing at her stomach. So she's got something there. And then they run out, and then they run into the woods because they start getting chased.
Wait, how dumb was that, though, for Jesse to say, "Fuck the searchlights, let's just run through them"?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, y'all are taking like way too much.
Why didn't they just wait a second and like they were getting shot at, and I was like, Jesse's gonna get shot like immediately upon rescuing them.
We need the baby daddy drama that's gonna ensue next season.
That's what I said. Baby daddy to the rescue.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They need the Maury Povich. They need to bring him back if he's dead. I think he's dead.
He don't even know he's gonna be a daddy yet. Surprise!
Soon.
Yeah, so they run to the park, and then you hear the wolves say, "We don't go in there." There's 3 to 5 of them armed. They're not scars, they said, and they're like, "Oh no, another area that they won't go. What is it this time?" Basically.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I was like, why is what is contained in the woods that even like the wolves won't attack with their guns? And
right.
We find out it's a bunch of like seraphites, and we kind of like get to really see their brutality in action. And
the whistles,
not okay. Yeah,
the whistles, and then they oh my God, they had that dude hooked up,
man,
and then he just takes that big hook and just pops it right in his chest, right around the heart area, where the stomach meets, and the other dude just pulls him up by the rope, and he didn't even have to move the thing, and at the very end he just, sorry I'm being a little graphic, but
did you hear him say before they strung him up, he said, I'll join you, and they said it's too late. So maybe the wolves are not joining willingly, they're joining to so they don't get murdered and disemboweled.
Oh, wow.
And they said it's too late. He's like, I know what Isaac's planning, and they're like, we don't care. And then he gruesomely disembowels him, and then he says the fucking craziest thing. He's free now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, first he says he's nested in sin. And they gotta get free. The sin out of him.
They got a lot more than the sins out of that boy.
Who's cleaning that up? Who's the
vultures?
the vultures.
Dude, who's smelling that?
No, thank
you. The insects. But
they're scarier to me than the wolves.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Their brutality is definitely unhinged, and the fact that like they have to cut themselves is one thing, but like they even have like the kids with like the scars on their face. There is having a militaristic attitude can be scary, but having a belief in something like that deep is definitely terrifying.
Because it's blinding. You can't see or hear anything else. It's like cognitive dissonance. Like if they were to say we're not with the wolves, they would be like, we don't care because you're not one of us, so we're going to kill you. Whereas the wolves would be like, well, let's see who they are. Maybe we can use them. Maybe there'll be, the common sense. Maybe they'll be useful later on down the road. But people like that, fundamental extremists, it's like there's no talking any kind of sense to them. They're just like, yeah, I'll play in your intestines. It's like no big deal.
Yeah.
They're gonna use it for jump rope. They're gonna play some double dutch.
Oh my god.
Come on, Mike. Double dutch.
You get
wait.
This.
And then they shot my girl Dina.
Wait.
They shot my boo.
I'm sorry. I just wrote a note that Ellie said to Jesse, we didn't need your help. We were doing pretty fucking good. And he turns and he's like,
were you?
You were about to get mauled to death.
Yeah.
Why do you think she said that?
Because it's Ellie and
her tough ass.
And like he gives her that like look and she's like, okay, until we weren't.
She thinks she Rambo First Blood.
Did anybody else get the vibe from Dina that like women will know what I'm talking about? It's that weird, like my ex just showed up to save me and like he doesn't know that we're together yet, so like chill. Because he doesn't like she gave Ellie that look like Ellie, like because she hasn't even like broke the news to this guy yet. Like, I'm pregnant with your baby, but also Ellie's the dad. Like Jesse's gonna be like Jesse and Tommy. Why were they the only ones that went out to get the girls?
Because they were the two of the three votes.
Yeah, the other vote was his wife.
Right.
No one else cares about Dina, or she doesn't have no family. I mean,
nobody cares about
I guess
Ellie.
Not. Huh.
Ellie and Joel is the reason they have that community.
Right.
You know, but they don't care. They're just like it's double play because they want to still keep their community and safe and their family, but at the same time you have some that want to fight for Joe, but the majority don't want to because they don't want to jeopardize or invite wolves to their sanctuary to be attacked because Ellie's trying to avenge Joel.
So this is like a capture and retrieve them back to Jackson. They're not trying to help them. They're like, no, we're going home. She's like, no.
Nope.
And then we hear the whistles. Yeah.
We hear the whistles, and then all of a sudden you hear arrows, and my girl Dina gets shot with an arrow right in the thigh. And, Jesse Shang-Chi over here picks her up like he has the 10 rings and starts running, and then,
do you think the arrow's poisoned?
Oh, God, I hope not.
Oh, I didn't think about that, but probably not. I would hope not. Not for baby girl.
Do you know that the Native Americans used to dip arrows in feces so that when you got shot, even if it wasn't lethal, you would die
from infection?
Yeah.
And the arrows into the poisonous rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Arrow tips. Yep.
Yeah.
Fun times, guys. Fun times. Aren't you glad we live in this century?
Yeah. The next scene's really intense, though, with her running through the woods. I was like scared for her.
Yeah. And then
I feel
she finds that massive tree. Go ahead, Mike.
I feel like Ellie at that point like kind of like abandons the plan of like get them out of here, and like she just kind of goes off on her own path.
She's like, get her back to the hotel.
Yeah.
I'll be bait again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She knew her whole plan that whole time was she wasn't leaving. Mm-hmm. She knew it was a rescue mission, and Jesse and Joel's brother, can't remember his name now. Tommy are there to rescue her, not to go in. So now by her going into that building, she's forcing Tommy and Jesse to go in after her. And this is where shit's going to hit the fan. Because she gets into that building, she crawls in, we see her going through that little hole and the
Yo, I got like spooked out by the dogs.
With the dog, I was like, yeah, the dog's gonna find her. He's like, it was just a critter. I don't feel like crawling in this hole. It was just a critter, guys. It's cool.
and then she goes all the way down to the basement, and you see Nora's patching up somebody, and Ellie just comes up behind her, and she's like, "Hello."
Do you guys know Nora from anything? Because I do.
I know. I just
Sabrina.
realized where I know Dina from.
Where?
Dina was in that she was Dora in Dora the Explorer, the live action movie.
Shut up.
Was
Yeah.
she?
And
No,
she's so
we're
good at
Dora.
maps. She's so good at maps, you guys.
Oh my
She's
god.
really still Dora.
You
Oh
see
my
that?
god, with her backpack and her flashlight.
It's Dora
No
all
way.
grown up.
Yeah. Call
That's
it
the origin.
canon.
Her origin
Dina
story.
is Dora.
Dina's origin story is my real name's Dora.
Worst dude.
My family died.
Right? She left her family. She became
And
8 years old, and
I
she did a whole
crossed.
TV show.
Shut up.
So the kid that
Swiper,
was
no
killed
swiping.
was actually Diego and Swiper.
No, my god. I love that. That's canon now. Oh my gosh.
He was also in there's this movie with John I believe it's John Cena, I think, or no, I'm sorry, not John Cena, with Marky Mark, whatever his name is, Marky Mark and
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, and another actress where they adopt kids, and it's a daughter and two of her siblings, younger siblings. She's the older sibling in the movie. I can't remember the name of it.
Like a bad teenager attitude.
Yeah,
I think I have seen that.
Yeah, it's like blended. It's called blended. Blended.
Oh,
That's exactly what it's called.
okay.
It's about a blended family. So
Shout out to Kev. Shout out to Kev who just said, "Holy crap! I just watched Dina's origin story growing up."
Oh my god. I know Nora from Sabrina, the Chilling Tales of Sabrina, like the new one, the dark
no.
That was the
one.
one on Netflix.
She plays a badass witch in that. Yeah, I think her name's. I forget her name in that. And then I know her from the 100 as well.
Oh,
she's a bad actress. She's gonna be good. Like that girl.
Yeah,
she's jacked. She was jacked big time.
she has a very like unique look too.
But when
and like it was pretty rad. She was like washing out the yeah, she was washing out the bandages. Yes, she was washing out.
I thought she was gonna light them on fire, and she starts washing them. Like, wow.
Yeah, there can't be too many left in the world, so you gotta clean them.
You gotta clean them. But and then they have their little conversations. I'm gonna leave this one with KJ because I know she probably wrote their whole conversation down.
I actually did it, but she's like, what'd she say? Drop that shit. And then she turns around. She's like, do you remember me? Yeah, you remember me. And then Nora starts off with some sympathetic shit. She's like, I still hear his screams sometimes, and the way he died, that wasn't right or something. And then she goes, little bitch had what was coming to him. And then Ellie's face was just like, no, bitch, you did it. And then what did she throw? Like hot water at her?
Yeah,
and like took off running?
Something, yeah.
And
then she's like, intruder! And like no one does anything for like a good couple of seconds. And I'm like, shoot her, Ellie. You can't shoot a moving target at this point.
Dude, she like freaks out too when she hits that wall. Like she's like, shit.
Yeah.
And like here comes like the T-1000 Ellie here, like straight up like Terminator
elevator shaft.
And she jumps down the flipping elevator and like
she had no choice.
Where did the two people go that were shooting at Ellie from the balcony? No one. Everyone was like, fuck Nora, that bitch dead. Like,
yeah. No, see, nobody likes Nora because she went playing them mind games.
She went down to B2. She went down to B2, opened it up so that all the cordyceps spores can go up into the rest of the hospital. Great job. Yeah.
She just
team player.
Screw that bitch. No.
But they didn't know it. I guess they didn't know because she was like, the spores are in the air.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning they tried to like play it off as like I don't want to say like good publicity, but they said like Leon is going to have like a hero's ending. It wasn't that he was locked up in a place where the spores are, because that would cause a flipping riot for
They
sure.
said that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's gonna give her like, we owe you one. You know, you did the best thing you did. It's basically like an accommodation for, you know, containing the spores and sacrificing your soldiers in
yeah,
order
Yeah.
to the better of the community, basically.
and
Well,
yeah, they said
that's
that
why I
they're
think it was in the past because Nora didn't seem to know the threat down there.
yeah,
She just
they said something about like covering up exactly what was going on down there,
Yeah.
and
they were
not
gonna,
telling anybody, right?
yeah, and they
Or
were
need
gonna
to
say
know.
like Leon died like a hero's death.
And
Yeah.
then Leon's still down there attached to this
Oh,
cordyceps tree thing.
and you
And
see
like,
him
as we were
just
talking about
breathing it
earlier, like
out.
he does not look like Leon S. Kennedy. Sadly, like that would have been like the perfect thing in the world.
I still feel like that was a Resident Evil reference.
Same.
Um, that
But
was
that
really
was sad.
tragic.
It
Yeah.
was.
Like if
Her
I
He
was
like,
face just,
her, I would have took the knife and killed both of them. I put them out
right.
of their misery.
yeah.
But
But
And I was
she
worried,
knew
like
she
when
was.
Ellie went down there, I was like, "Crap! Can Ellie get infected by spores?"
Oh,
in season 1, dude, she walks through
Yeah.
buildings where everyone else
Yeah.
has gas masks on, and she
Yeah.
was like,
She's immune.
when she walks up to her, coughing her lungs out, and
So
she's like,
badass.
"You killed us both," and Ellie's like, "Did I?"
That 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 right there was such a badass
It
moment.
was.
The
It
way they
was.
just take that angle of the shot from behind Ellie, and she's just walking up, and you see Nora just coughing up, and you see the spores just spitting out, and she goes, "You killed both of us." She goes, "Did I?" And you see the light just flickering in
Yeah.
Nora's eyes. She goes, "You're the chosen one."
Yeah, she says, "You're the immune girl." That's what she called her.
And she goes,
And
"Do you know what happened?"
do you know what he did? Yeah.
You,
Yeah, this
and
is
she
like the
admits it.
the mic drop moment, and
I don't.
I don't think she knew.
I don't think she knew. I think she was because she like had a flash of the
Yeah,
micro expression where she was shocked, but then she was like, "It doesn't matter."
yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
uh
think she suspected it,
yeah.
and Nora just gave her confirmation. So she kind of knew, but kind of didn't. But whoa,
Yeah. I think she knew that Joel probably did bad things to get her out of the hospital. I don't think she knew the extent like that. He killed a lot of people, and he killed a unarmed brain surgeon, which I still am like, dude, that's wild that he did that. The only person in the world left who could have manufactured a potential cure.
Mhm.
And hey, by the way, it was Abby's dad. And then I think Ellie's like churning, oh, so that's why she wanted revenge. That's why she killed Joel, but it doesn't matter. I still gonna kill her.
And
Right.
it was,
then like you've been like saying that since the beginning of like Joel killed like the one dude that like should not have been killed.
He was too
And
valuable.
exactly, and he just straight like point blank shot him and kind of damned the whole human race forever.
Damn,
But
Joel. What the fuck, man?
speaking of like damning moments, Ellie grabs that pipe because this girl is a little too loyal to Abby, and she grabs that pipe, and I'm like, oh no, she's going down like a dark path, and she starts hitting her in the darn leg and beating the crap out of her.
same thing they
And
did to Joel.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bitch.
So do we think Nora broke?
I
That
hope
was
she
going to be
did.
my question to you guys. Does she break, or does she figure we're already going to die anyway? Like, why even bother telling her? I'm dead either way. She's going to beat me, and I'm taking on these spores.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
look at what is her name?
Nora.
Look at
Nora?
Nora's like track record here. She like punked out and like threw water at her and ran away and tried to have other people kill her. She ran down into this area and like she's got no spine. I don't think she held out for too long. I think she gave up on Abby. And
I think
I
she
don't know.
might lie. She might lie and say she's in level 4,
yeah.
and she's gonna die anyway. Well, she'll probably leave her down there, and then she'll turn into one of those weird
Dina
spore.
already told her where she's at. Dina told her where Abby's at. She's
Level
on the
6.
first level 6. So she knows where she's at.
Why do you think she just for?
She just wants
Rage.
payback.
She's so
She's
Yeah.
rageful.
rageful. She has so much hate and so much anger, and she has to avenge Joel's death. But it's crazy, man. This show is on a roller coaster. Quick question for you guys, actually: did Dina leave the map on purpose at the theater, knowing Jesse would be behind them to find it?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Was she leaving crumbs for the map?
I don't.
Hmm?
I call bullshit on that. I don't think they would have left the map. They would have needed it, right? Unless
Exactly.
she memorized the entire map of the city. Like, why would you leave? Wolves could have came in. Scars could have came in. You left the lights on probably,
I
and
I definitely think she left that map on purpose to let them know she knew Jesse loves her. Why
mm,
wouldn't he go after her? And he cares about Ellie. He really does.
yeah, she's too smart to do anything unintentionally. So if she did leave it, it was for a reason.
Exactly. So I think it was to a mayday call, like, here, let me leave breadcrumbs to let you know where we're at. Because they tracked them down. They're right behind them. The whole time they've been right behind them.
I would have
He,
loved to have seen Tommy with him. Like, why did splitting up in a city that big is a stupid idea?
I think Tommy's in that building trying to find the people who killed his brother
Hmm.
Maybe.
and looking for Ellie. But I'm not looking forward to next week's episode, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
Yeah, we
I'm
get
really
left
not.
with this like kind of
So
heartbreaking flashback.
yeah,
Yes.
so she wakes up in bed in the sunlight. Joel's standing in the door. I gasped. I was like, Joel. And then he goes, "Hey, kiddo." And she's like happy. Now, when's the last time we saw Ellie happy? And she just
Right.
says hi. So for me, I interpreted this as this was probably right when they got to Jackson. And
Exactly.
maybe it's a little preview for next week. We get some Jackson backstory.
Next week's episode, if they showed it at the very end of all the trailers, they gave you a sneak peek. It's all about what happened the last 5 years between Joe
Oh,
and
Oh
Ellie,
yay.
man, that's gonna be so
and
sad.
that's why.
Yes.
That's exactly why I said I'm not looking forward to next week's
Yeah.
episode
Why
Oh
not?
man.
because that is going to be a tearjerker.
Oh, I like when I don't like to cry, but I like watching things that make me feel. And it's really been gnawing at me to not know why their relationship dissolved the way it did.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
and
it's even like before she moved into the garage, because that's her bedroom that they showed
Right.
like her bed was taken out of and all that stuff.
they've been there for 5 years. A lot
Hmm.
has happened in 5 years. They built a community in 5 years. So we're gonna get a glimpse into those 5 years next week.
We're
Next
probably
week's
gonna
just a
see
flashback episode.
what happened with what was her name? The psychiatrist's husband.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
we'll probably finally find
Gail.
out what
Gail.
exactly happened. I can't wait
Mm.
for that.
How many episodes do we
Eugene was
have
her
then?
husband's
Only
name,
2 more?
Eugene?
Three
Yeah.
more? What
I think there's
episode? This
7
was five.
episodes.
There's 8 episodes, I thought.
No, I think there's only 7.
Are you
Did we
sure?
didn't we
Yeah.
find that out? I thought we looked that up.
Yeah, I'm old. I forget
And
things
then
really fast.
it leaves on Pearl Jam, a song
Is that
called
what that was?
Present Tense. Yeah, I really like
Oh.
that song.
I was too busy looking at like the Weezer sign in her room.
Why doesn't it show me next week's preview on mine? Maybe I didn't watch long enough.
Yeah, I didn't watch
Uh,
like through the credits.
I usually just let it play and just whatever happens. If there's something, there's something.
Hmm.
They usually show sometimes they'll show a clip for next week's episode, or they usually show you a glimpse into what this episode was about and what they talk about and what drove this episode and highlights and stuff like that. So it
So,
depends.
who's MVP for you guys for this episode?
I have my notes here, and I think you know exactly who's going to be the MVP for 3 weeks in a row because it is definitely on my notepad.
I I disagree with you.
Who's your
I
MVP?
think I think Jesse's the MVP.
Mm.
Jesse saved
Yeah,
their ass.
that's a good one.
They would be dead without Jesse. Jesse only had a 5, maybe a 2 minute clip. He was on screen for 5 minutes, but he's the MVP. Without him, they're dead.
And we know how
true.
strong he is because we saw him doing what
Oh
Tommy
yeah,
couldn't back at the town. But he just picked Dina up and got out of there without the Scars seeing him. I'm assuming they got away.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a
Well,
good one.
assuming maybe they
I'm
got
gonna
caught
I'm
by
gonna go with
those.
Dina because it's Dora. She has to get
She got the
Yes.
plane.
her.
You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm giving the MVP to the map. That's it. And that whatever she was doing, triangulating thing, education, people.
Both of the MVPs touched the map, so it helped them both.
That's right. Nah, but Jesse saved the
She
day,
was
so
like,
I got to
triangulation.
go
Do
with
you
him.
know how this works?
I'm
I
telling you,
got an
man.
F plus in triangulation class.
Ellie was like, there's triangles. So I
um,
guess we don't. Are we doing predictions for next week? Because we.
I just want to add like two things. First off, when they got down into that basement and like the cordyceps was all over the walls, like throw up. I think that was both incredibly creepy, disgusting, and kind of beautifully rendered. I think it was very unsettling, but I think they rendered that really well, where it was very believable. And in the
Oh
beginning,
yeah,
when they
the environments are amazing.
yeah, in the beginning, when they were talking about the stairwell, they said they had at the beginning of the outbreak they had taken some of the first cordyceps patients and put them in the basement, and what that rang out
Right.
right
Patient
that rang
Zero.
out yeah. So the guy who is the showrunner of The Last of Us. It was also the showrunner for the Chernobyl series. And in Chernobyl, they took all of the firefighters who were the first people affected by the radiation poisoning, and they stripped down all of their clothes and they put it in the basement because it was affecting the nurses and everything. So it kind of felt like a bit of a callback to that to me. Um, it might be a bit.
Yeah, and we haven't even got to B1. We've only seen B2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all
So
three floors. It's B1, B2, and B3
right.
that have been
How
offset.
is Ellie gonna get her ass back up that elevator shaft? Is the question.
And like, does Ellie have spores all over her now? Because like she's
Uh,
walking and like there's like a
Yeah.
fine mist of spores that are coming up when she
oh,
steps everywhere.
she's definitely anybody comes in contact with her is going to be killed instantly. Or,
Right? She needs
but
like a good delousing or something.
they're going to assume
Mm.
that Ellie's dead.
Yeah,
They went
maybe.
into B2. They're gonna think she's dead, and there's nothing to worry about. The intruder's gone. Both of them are dead. End of discussion. So that's actually gonna help Ellie get out of there after she waits a few hours because
Aren't
they're
they
gonna
gonna?
know.
They're gonna close the elevator doors, right?
Yeah, she just climbed further up.
All
Well,
right.
there's only
Let's see
only
that upper body strength.
yeah.
I'm gonna leave that one
Most
alone.
most people cannot do a pull up, let alone
I know I can't.
Nah, thank God they got
us.
rid of rope plays.
Right, us being as old as we are, we had to climb that freaking rope in gym.
Right.
Yep.
Just
These,
cruel and unusual
these,
punishment.
now they just sit on their phones all day. But
Exactly.
what did you think about the episode altogether? After everything, what are you expecting? What are you excited for? Like in next
Mm.
week's episode, it's a flashback episode. So, what do you want to see them cover next week between what happened the last 5 years? What are you expecting? What do you want to see? What do you have to see?
What I am most excited about is the wrong word, but I want to see what the heartbreaking moment is where Joel is maybe drunk and says the wrong thing and lets it slip, or maybe he starts like talking in his sleep or something, and Ellie kind of really starts to put the pieces together about like what Joel did and like how she starts to lose her faith in him.
Yeah. How about
Yeah.
you, KJ?
I feel like secrets in general hold like an energy to them. And I think even if Joel wasn't telling her, she could sense something. And he probably even maybe distanced himself from her because, I mean, he's done a lot of bad shit, but I feel like that was one of the worst things he's ever done. And maybe it brought some resentments, on both their ends and some rejection going on. And sometimes people They don't just come out and say like, "Hey, what's up? Why don't we talk anymore?" They just like let the distance grow and grow and grow. Um, I'm curious to see how Joel goes from being a lone wolf to being a community member. I'm interested to see how Ellie and Dina meet. Um, yeah, and I want to see some Gale. I love her. Want to see any Gale scenes I'll take.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat. I think we're gonna get a lot of backstory for mainly from Joel and Ellie, but I think we're gonna get something. We might even get a scene from not maybe a scene from Dina, what happened with her, but something from her, something from Jesse, something from Joel, something from Tommy, um, from everybody's perspective. But I think they're definitely going to focus mostly on Joe and Ellie and their relationship over the last 5 years and how Joel had to deal with that guilt because that guilt had to eat him alive because although you saved your daughter, you could have cured the world. And she's not your daughter. She's not. You just met her recently at that point. But she reminded you of your daughter Sarah, and that was your baby, and she was about the same age as Sarah when she met Joel when they had the transporter last year.
Mm-hmm. Question: Ellie is the same age as Sarah, but totally different personality, right? Like I think Sarah, she was in that position, probably would have sacrificed herself for the greater good. What do you guys think Ellie would have done if she was told you have the cure, but you have to die? What would I think she would have. Do you think she would have made the selfish choice?
Hell no.
I think she's got too much Joel in her. Like they're cut from the same cloth.
So she would do it or she wouldn't do it?
Wouldn't.
I don't think she would do it. I think she'd be like, peace out. I'm not gonna sacrifice myself for these people. She's selfish. And all she cares about is herself. That's at least that's how they have portrayed her on the TV show so far. I don't know as far as the game, but they portrayed her to be she does care about people because she did care about Joel and she did love Joel and she does care about people, but she's so.
But who else does she care about other than Dina? She don't care about no one else in that town. There's really no bonds because she's. So what I would like to see is Ellie give up her road to vengeance for Dina, like for her future. Like give it up, go back home, be happy, but that's not gonna happen.
It'd be the last season if they did that.
What do you think, Kay? Do you think like she would make the sacrifice or not?
I don't. I think Sarah would have, but I think Sarah is judging Joel for what he did.
Oof, ouch.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Like, Dad, you're better than that. Is he? I don't know.
No. That man has been through a lot of shit. He lost his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, he was already a single father struggling to make ends meet and keep a roof over his daughter's head. And he was a damn good father from what you could see because all he cared about was supporting his daughter and protecting her and making sure she was safe at all times. But yeah, I think losing his daughter is what made that man angry and, you know, for lack of a better term, a piece of a shit of a human being. You know, he wasn't a nice person. He wasn't a good person, but there were things that made him that person. You know,
I know.
People forget that. So, like,
still love Joel.
Joe.
It's just he's a complex character.
Yeah. Well, Pedro Pascal's character was the only reason I started watching the show last year.
Yeah. Like Ellie, like a lot of people on the vengeance kick, they think that if they kill the person that took this person away, that's causing, like, they would rather focus on the vengeance than the grief. She was playing the guitar. She didn't want to think about Joel. She would rather focus on revenge. When you kill that person, it doesn't help. It doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't bring the person back. And look what you sacrifice to kill this person who, you know, may or may not have had it coming, and you might have ruined your life in the process. Like, but I get it. It's human nature.
Everything has a price. Everything has a price. So
which is Dina's baby, probably.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna see. We're gonna see very soon. We're gonna see very soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that show. So anything else before we close out, guys?
Do we think Ellie and Jesse are going to fight over Dina?
oh yeah.
Oh, something's gonna go down eventually.
There's going to be a fist fight going on.
Definitely. Someone's getting a black eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesse's too much of a square for Dina.
Yeah.
Definitely too much of a square.
I mean, he came through in the clinch, though.
And that's got to count for something. She might have second feelings, second thoughts. She saw how selfish, Ellie's been this whole time. And now you got,
she's
Jesse
risking her life.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
she said, I'll go home. I'll go home with you if you want.
And what did Ellie do? Like, Ellie never agreed. She legitimately looked past her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wasn't even making eye contact.
To the road ahead and said vengeance instead.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there are a lot of things that are gonna unfold in the next 3 episodes. That really is a bummer that there's only 3 episodes left. I thought there was 4. Not that that's much more.
I know, it's going by quick.
Yeah.
It's been a fun ride so far. So yeah, we'll see where this takes us. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys for checking us out. Don't forget to like, share, follow, subscribe. Definitely send this to your family and friends. They're the first ones that'll subscribe usually. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, KJ. And stay tuned. We'll see you with next week's recap of what's going to happen with Joe and Ellie. So with that being said, have a good one, guys.
Bye.